Hello. We have another game that was submitted to FAF Discord. It is about Mylaur. Mylaur. I'm gonna call him Mylaur for simplicity's sake. His problem was that he didn't know how to beat. Well, he did eventually beat him. It's just like he was like questioning his decisions on how he beat it. The UEF infamous turtle. Spawn position was here of the enemy, and here is the Mylaur doing his standard double land. I think maybe double land and air opening. 2 land, 1 air, I believe. I think air was attached here. So overall, his problem was he didn't know how he could beat the UEF turtle faster. So we are looking into this game to see what he could have done about it to do that more efficiently. Usually we want to make assault bot before scout, so you can send assault bot and scout will catch up, because scout is a lot faster than assault bot. But this is fine. You are assisting, I believe. Yeah, good luck, have fun, you too, says Isarat. This is pretty standard opening. No Hydro quick take, and no Hydro quick take here. He did mention that he had a lot of issues with energy. Let's see how this raid gone. Also, a lot of his engineers very exposed, no tanks to protect them. He could equally done this to him, and these engineers will all be dead. Maybe just one from this side, and then can go from the back. Wait, but he does catch one engineer. Good harass, maybe a bit overly investment. You should not be. I'm not sure why you're not moving, or at least moving him in the back. But it's fine. This is a fairly low rated game, about 550 average or 575 average. So he kills mechs. Not sure it was worth it. Killing engineers is good enough. You should probably look for the second engineer, either here or maybe behind here. These units are now sitting idle. At least you should put them on move command. Getting some tanks. Oh, it is a triple land opening, so no air quite yet. It's fine. A lot of people do it. Getting Hydro, but I think it's gonna energy stall a bit. Maybe not. It's gonna be close. Oh, no, it's fine. No energy stall, but you should really be taking all the Hydros as fast as possible, because this map, believe it or not, has a lot of mass. That means you need a lot of energy to actually put that mass to use, and he is already overfloating that mass. If you have engineers on attack reclaim and you overflowing mass, switch them to patrol. They gonna only reclaim if needed, if you're spending. This way, your eco just kind of goes to waste. This reclaim is just being unused, which is unfortunate. You don't really want to do that. So you see the mass pump, you know that he is expanding. You don't see engineer, or you perhaps killed it, but I don't see the reclaim of engineer. Finding some tanks, which should be kind of microing. This is his rally point. Not sure if you noticed that or not. But you're expanding pretty well. You have tank following engineer, which is nice in case of like a raid from behind. Thoughtful, you thought it through. And now you see PD. You can actually shoot a PD outside of its range because it doesn't have vision on you as Aeon. But you have RT with you, so you should be focusing it down. But oh, again, nice. You notice that you have RT. Your attack rally point, nice, because if you have engineer, it's nice. You are being energy deprived, and you're upgrading mass instead of building like energy. You're building a Hydra, which is nice, but you should really make like a line of like PDs. I mean, line of energy. It's like a line like here will be nice, or maybe more behind here, where it's more safe. And okay, you kill this PD. You should really have a scout. You build a radar in case of like incoming raids and stuff. And you don't see any of these to capture. You don't see any of the PD. You see some units, but because your energy stalling, your radar is probably not always turned on. And you have a second radar here to see any incoming units from this side. And you're attacking primarily from the middle, which is fine. No real complaints there. You see his like mini expansion, and you kind of commit to destroy it. So you don't see any units. You have a scout, and you're gonna see his base. He's actually economically doing a lot better. You see his ACU upgrading, if you catch that. If you're scouting over enemy base, like take a like a moment and look over his base to see what he's doing, to see like if he has upgraded his mexes, in which case he did. So his eco right now is about as par as your. Like he has 53 and you have 71, so he's not that far behind, even though you have a lot more grabbed economy. And I mean, he has a lot of grabbed economy as well, but you're gonna clear that way through and through. And with this, you should immediately maybe go for here, target the energy storage. Does a lot of damage to surrounding buildings, and it dies really quickly. And now you're engaging with an army, or at least you should be engaging. You know you have a bigger army than him, but maybe you just wanna like another scout pass, which you do have here. So you could go for another scout over his base and see what is he doing. Having army here, and especially if you have artillery, artillery can do a lot of damage early. Alright, you see the scout, you see 4 PDs, and at this point you should have a pretty good clue what you're dealing with. T2 PDs here. You should use your artillery immediately, which is nice, you do. Your target is in front and then from behind. Very nice. You have army clearing from the behind with good rally points. But now you notice that your artillery is dying, and your army from way outside of the range is dying, and you still decide to engage, even though there's like still 4 PDs active, and probably another PD here. So this push is probably not gonna work. You don't notice that he's doing any air, so you could turn off the anti-air, mobile anti-air, since your air is superior. And you scouted that he has only like 2 factories, land, and he doesn't have air factory, so there's no way he can hurt you with air. It's a lot of mass that you can save by just doing that. Let's see. Oops, that's a wrong unit. So that's like a 440 mass in just anti-air. I'll disregard these 3 because you didn't know if he's gonna have. Engineer should be building, like always. Transport should be sent if you have an advantage that is obvious to you. And in this case, you probably already figured out that you're dealing with a turtle. Probably even slightly before this. 10 minutes min, he's not expanding, he's not doing anything. You are getting T2 for free essentially. We have some scouting over him. You see that he is creep pushing. So what do? Well, first thing you can do is grab a T2 engineer, build static RT, and just place it like just on the very edge, like outside of his base, and make like a couple of like here. It's gonna start hitting his base. He's gonna have to invest in shields that cost a lot of mass, and it's gonna put him behind really bad. Right now, he is about half of your eco, and he's trying to expand, and you're trying to like put into it. It's just a shame that you should be using more of your army to do that. Send this army from behind. He's not interested in attacking you with an army, as you can see from the scouts. He doesn't have any army to begin with. His army is point defense, which you are like effectively eliminating, at least the T1 one. That's dying so gracefully. Also, when you can, you should be targeting engineers. And you should still, as I mentioned before, build power. If you're overfloating mass, upgrade, like, leave this to upgrade. Upgrade doesn't cost that much mass. Let's see if you can find one that is upgrading. You're assigning engineers. That's probably the eco manager doing. But it costs like 61 energy to upgrade at a consistent rate. And you can afford like some dip in energy. So you should definitely build more energy. You should probably turn off Eco Manager because it's not doing you any favors here. And you should immediately after you get T2 Engineer, you should get like T2 Power. Your T2 Engineer, if I'm not mistaken. Where is T2 Engineer? You have them here. Building PD and TMD. This is nice, but there's an obvious counter to this. He's gonna build static RT. You're gonna give him an idea. If you're like ahead of him, you should just like strike it with the hardest unit that you have, which is the T2 RT, or go for a 3-3 land and just roll with that. Though these two units should really build T2 power first. It's very inexpensive to build. It's cheap compared to the other stuff, and it gives you a lot of energy boost, and it allows you to upgrade the radar, and you can see clearly into his base what is he doing. But you have a radar here that sees most of the part, and I think you have radar here that sees like the other part of his base. Though maybe upgrading this one will do you a bigger favor. You could see clearly everything. You should send scouts every now and then. And it's pretty clear like with what you're dealing with here. You can clearly see that he's building clink hammers. He has already 2 for that matter, hitting your defenses. And meanwhile you're struggling to consume and use all your mass. So there's not a whole lot you can do at this point. You should immediately tech up. You have energy and power to do so. This is your HQ. You could mobile strike and do it with shields. You brought your ACU to a very dangerous position. It's in the front line. He could summon a bunch of gunships for you unexpectedly and kill you with that. He's sending scouts himself. You have, hopefully, you have some anti-air to stop that, which is nice. You're building T2 radar instead of upgrading this one, which is already built, and it takes like about a minute to upgrade, which takes like about a minute to build one, I believe. Minute and 7 seconds, so it's still more efficient, and you have 2 engineers which can boost the upgrade. You should just do that, but fine. Also, you can shut down unnecessary radars in order to preserve power, but its T1 radar consumes like 20 power each, so it's not big of a deal. But if you're really struggling for power, the main issue is here, you're just like overfloating a lot of mass. Like a lot of mass ended up being unused, and for every fight that you engage with him, you gave him a lot of mass to reclaim, which this engineer just respectfully like decides to do so. And so the other ones. He sees mass and he reclaims, because that's what he does. Now you try to engage, slightly uncoordinated. You're trying to go for his power, I believe. But he can mass up PDs really quickly. This army is not gonna breach. This army is maybe gonna breach. Probably not. I don't see this getting through, especially in like an uncoordinated fashion like this. Obsidians are really good for tanking damage, but you don't have a good number of them. And PDs have the highest damage rate of any PD in the game. So this goes in. I believe it gracefully dies. If you really want to overpower your enemy with just raw unit, you should really get more factories. Just more factories, like a straight line, build them more, spam bunch of, and just go for it. If you have smart unit, you can go for a attack smart. Focus his powers. These mexes, it takes too long to kill. The real damage you'll be doing is in the killing power. That's gonna reduce his like build power, similar what you're facing here. Most of your buildings are building slow because you're lacking energy, and energy is required for structure to be built really fast. Mass is also required, but mass is always generating income. And while energy is more deprived, because when energy is gone, so does mass extractor shutdowns, radar shutdown, like it's a mess to deal with. So lives goes on. Your attack failed. He got shields up, he got clink hammers up, he got even more PDs now, and you just gave him like around 9,000 mass. I'm gonna disclude this one, so about like 6k, 5k mass. Just from here, just from all these dead stuff here. He is gonna rebuild this, that's for sure. He's gonna rebuild this, that's for sure. And you overfloating even more. You have like 100 more income than him, 120 more income, but you are not using it. You are incapable of using it. And you could really just put it to upgrade. You are upgrading tier 3, nice. You should really get more factories as well, or at least build a transport and upgrade all of these here. Maybe even build a clink hammer. I think that reaches it. Just barely. Yeah. Barely reaches it. Not worth. Still though, it's in the plan. You're not scouting. You see a lot of new structures being built. You don't know what these are. These are probably engineers. You can probably figure it out yourself. And by the missing reclaim, you can conclude those are engineers. You're upgrading this factory, which is in very kind of dangerous position. You will be giving him even more mass if this dies. About like 1,000 mass or something. You even have more engineers not making power. There's a power here, but you should really be making tier 3 power now since you have tier 3 factory. The first thing you should build out of factory, unless you're going for like a hard crush, get a unit and just attack with that. But other than that, get tier 3 engineer, like 2 of them, 3. Make a power, tier 3 power. You're gonna be, if you're like just fighting land, you're gonna be set for life with that. You can even build like quantum gate if you have like another power generator and just go support ACUs or combat ACUs. Not advisable, but you can do it. You're seeing your units getting shot. This is perhaps just bad, like a rally from you. Using bomber to scout to kill a PD. You see that he's building power. You see that he has a stealth, but once stealth is up, the jig is up. Once you reveal this, like stealth can no longer like hide. It only hides from radar. Once it's like you get vision over this, you immediately know that there are buildings there. You cannot hide it from radar again. Unless I think radar loses energy and then vision just gets lost. I believe. But now you see he has some air, most likely scouts. You maybe deal with that, maybe not. The flak will deal with that. So he gets some scouting on you. This is fine. You should really have like more engineers, maybe even build like artillery behind him, like somewhere here. It's gonna shoot over this, I believe. Maybe not. So you're building clink hammers yourself, or what are they called? Oh no, those are tier 3 artillery, I believe. Wait, what was that shooting at him? I missed something. But it doesn't matter. You would try to engage again. Obsidians are very good at blocking. If you just had like maybe 20 of them, which you definitely had mass to do so, this would probably go through this base quite easily with some artillery to back it up. It will be a nifty thing to do. He actually builds T2. Or is it this one that died? I'm not sure. But yeah, even though you have a half of the map, more than half actually, you're like only ahead of him by like 800 mass income. Oh, those are TMLs. And those are artillery shooting at you. So TMLs from Aeon, they're kind of sad because they are really slow. It takes them a while. They're the slowest TML in the game. Generally not advisable to use. As for rest, building T2 power here was proven to be a mistake since it's gonna probably die and give you a mass stall again. This is smart, but again, the artillery is shooting at you and giving you a hard time. Yeah, it's gonna kill all 3 of these. So really, you should reclaim this, but I don't think there is any point of reclaiming that since you're overfloating even more. You are spamming Harpies. Harpy, really good unit. In numbers, they're even better. Tier 3 artillery, addition to that, and some shields. You should really make some units out of this factory, like shield and I don't know, maybe a couple sniper bots. Sniper bots do, I think they do have a pretty good range and they can shoot while move. I'm not entirely 100% sure on that. So you're moving in with your army. Pretty standard. This turtle is like not doing a whole lot. You should really be scouting more. I would be worried personally, like, especially if you're doing like shenanigans like this, stuff that radar can't see. Tier 3 air scout would be nice, but he's not investing a lot of anti-air, so you can even just like make like a couple tier 3, T2 factories and rush gunships at him. That will force him to give him another idea to build flak. Now you believe this is the weakest point, where in fact like attacking from behind is probably the weakest point, but it doesn't matter because he has radar. He sees all of this, like he has like this range that he sees. Somewhat that range. If you don't know how to use these units, you can just assist them to bigger units or put them in formation, and it's gonna cover like all the major units automatically and just push forward a little bit and then like go for it. Trying to do some gunship attack while you're getting ready to do some gunship attack, but judging by how much anti-air, as little as it does have, it's still probably not gonna work. So you're engaging what's more. There is probably a shield here. You don't want to commit your units entirely all in, but judging by how this goes, this looks like a promising fight. It's just like there is no enough units to support this. You are specifically targeting the PDs. Now you're targeting the power. You should have targeted maybe shield first after you broke it down, so it doesn't rebuild it immediately. And these gunships live even long enough. So this was a pretty good engagement, I would say. But you needed more of units. This could have been won easily if you just kind of upgrade all of these and actually made them produce units. It's only this one producing units. If you can always assist, like press the factory and assist it, so it will produce like every unit that you put here, and it's gonna produce them from that factory. So you're using shield breakers to kill shield. They can kill shield very well, but they cannot kill the structures really well. They do some damage, but not amazing. And your RT is doing work, but he has like a big chunk of RT here. So it's probably gonna turn the fire to this. And of course you gave a lot of reclaim here. About 10,000 in his own structures and in your own units. So even though he's not winning, well, maybe from his perspective he is winning. He's making you impatient. And you can see with scouts that there's like some new structures like being built that you didn't even know about, which is why it's important to scout. That's a devastating. Tier 3 RT doesn't have bigger range than Klinkhammers. Well, Klinkhammers, any T2 stationary artillery unit. They all have bigger range than Tier 3 RT, but Tier 3 RT, mobile RT, is way cheaper. That's the whole deal with them. They are just cheap. And since this arty can move and shoot, you can just place a bunch of move commands, left and right. And they can keep shooting while moving, which is good for you. This way they kind of focus fire and they kill it. You don't want to do patrol, because patrol they will stop and then shoot, because they think to themselves that they need to get ready and they don't want to shoot and run. It's not their deal. This would have worked if you just microed it. It would have worked really well. But since that doesn't work, he is catching up to you in the mass, and he could already probably start building a fat boy if we didn't start already. Like, if honestly if I was in his position, fat boy here, you're not really scouting that consistently, so I could probably get away with. If needs be, I can pause it whenever it's required. And your push is overall really slow. You have plenty of energy, but you are unable to use it. And you have a lot of mass, still unable to use it. Now you're using it on something, so you're doing something big, or you're assisting really heavily. No, I think this is still it. Oh, you're building Galactic Colossus. That's great. You should build some Harpies with that. You should use these idle factories to build some. But first of all, you should build some power. This consumes a lot of power to build. Let's see. So it costs 200 power per engineer, per tier 3 engineer to consume it. So in total costs like 1/3 of a million of energy to build it. So you're gonna run out of energy really fast. Extra PD would have probably solved this problem. Now you're putting one extra factory to build an engineer. I guess that's fine. These have some combination of units, which is nice. And he's slowly expanding his base with clink hammers, because that's his safest option to expand. So he's not completely clueless, he knows what he's doing. Also, having these two men, like, that much engineers, it's kind of bad. Just send them to do this, like, to build mass storages around the mexes. You did this here, and you did this here. Honestly, I don't... Oh, it's Econ Manager screwing you up. It thinks it needs to upgrade. Yeah, it's Econ Manager. That's a bummer. But yeah, put mass storages around these, put more engineers to it, and just get them to work. Make them slaves. Make them work, do their job. I believe this is like Eco Manager, you kind of preventing you from making right choices. So you ending up with like a tier 3 max on the front of your base, just dying. And it's preventing you from like upgrading the mass storages. I mean, the upgrading like to next level of mass efficiency, which is like storage around the mass extractor. And it's all happening because you're building a GC, which consumes a lot of energy, which you build a tier 3 power for, and now you can build it like freely. But you should still be using all these factories, which now you are. Is this one assisted? Oh yeah, you know about like assist factory. And you know about this one and this one. And it's all assisting to this one. So this one Q is 5 Harpies, 2 Sams, which he still doesn't have air, except just like scouting every now and then. Honestly, if you have air dominance, Strap Bomber, just build Strap Bombers till you see any decent ASFs out of him. You're already building Sams, which is nice. So now let's see what you're gonna do with a Galactic Colossus now that it's almost finished. So you build him, you immediately put him to work, put him to use. You should scout ahead to see what does he have, what is your Galactic Colossus walking into. You're prepping units. I'm not sure that's in range of hammers, but it seems like it is. So you should really move him outside of the range a little bit, like back here. Also, you're building this tier 3 power like really dangerous situations. And you already have power dying, and I believe there's a power here that died as well. So this is hitting you, and you're getting kind of saved by shields. You want to let in your Galactic Colossus tank as much damage as possible, and not your units. Even put some shields like onto him, assist him, so it can get as far in as possibly can, and then you can do work with units. Galactic Colossus is not gonna kill this base itself. Your units will, if you do it correctly. So now it's getting hit by Quink Hammers. You should have really let this so Quink Hammers can focus this. And just let this like tank all the damage. You scout now. There's a lot of PDs here. He's building even more now. And this is gonna die, obviously. And this is not walking fast enough. You moved him here, and you focusing down PDs. I guess that's fine, but they're gonna kill PDs anyway. This is a good damage that you're doing. Just like, it's kind of shame that you're lacking units to do so. Any significant damage. This is a bit of a dent in his base, and he knows there is a weakness in this base. But you should have maybe pick a better angle of an attack. Maybe from like here. Maybe from like here. This here position would probably be better. And now he's like slowly catching up in you in eco. This reclaim is definitely not gonna help. This reclaim here is not gonna. It's like a 37k of reclaim that you kind of gave it to him, and bet your ass that he's gonna try to reclaim this. As you can see, like a lot of stuff that you kind of missed on. Seems like you're doing this manually. You should really just take like a minute or two to just like place storages around these as well. This is like already 5, 6, 7, 13. Another 4 here. It's a lot of mass income that you missed on, and you kind of allowing him to expand. Not saying allowing, but you did allow him to breach out, and you should have put like a safeguard here. But not sure if you maybe noticed and that's why you're doing this, or maybe you're doing this because you are out of like any brighter ideas. Yeah, starting this, probably good idea. He doesn't have a whole lot of anti-air, and what little that he does have, it's not gonna kill it fast enough. You should still trying to scout. You should still try to like see if there is like a new progression to his base. I believe Aeon has a tier 3 spy plane as any other faction. You should build one and use it. You are building some strap bombers, which is, it's not too late. And you see his end game, which is gunships. He put it for some reason on the front. Maybe he was afraid of another Galactic Colossus. But sniping you with gunships was his end game. If you allow this to continue like any longer, he will probably go for you with gunships. And that's a lot of gunships. This is like a potential snipe at amount. He wanted you to end you with this. And almost like if he was like any more clever, he actually could have ended you with this. By the time you kind of took to react, he could have found your ACU and just go for it. And there's not a whole lot you could have stopped him. Now you're picking a good line of attack, but you're kind of taking the wrong rally point. You should have just changed it like here and then move your units behind here. These units are all getting shot up and dead. There's a lot of reclaim here. Like, Jesus Christ, there's a lot of... Yeah, he's reclaiming this, as expected. There's a lot of things just reclaiming. Trying to kill a PD. You need like I think 3 to kill a PD with. I mean, mobile stationary anti-air. You're trying to deny him mass income. That's incredibly nice. That's pretty clever. I don't know what to say. You should upgrade this radar since this one died. That is was in an advantageous position. Upgrade this radar, T2, get his information on baseline by this much. And then upgrade to tier 3 to hold this. Also, you notice he has a lot of engineering stations. And because you kind of attack him with air, he's starting to build SAMs, which is gonna end up costing you for your Caesar or SAR or Donut or I don't know how else they call this, Muffin. I don't know. And all right, you're kind of getting to it. Eco Manager is still screwing you up, I see. I do believe this is Eco Manager's fault. I really not hoping that you are the one doing this. If you are, you should not be doing this. You should let it upgrade. This is more math than you're gonna get over time. This is dying because it allows it to expire. I'm not sure if he's building SAMs because he saw your donut or because like he saw your air units that he killed. In any case, you're sending one strat against a shielded base that has a base. It's not gonna penetrate. At best, you could like try to snipe this, which seems like that is your plan. You could even hover. You should not do this like because it's gonna fly over and then it's gonna get shot by SAMs. Now, Caesar is running. He's trying to... Let's see what's gonna try to kill. What is it targeted to? Target shield, power. Power is good. Targeting power is always good. Yeah, power, as expected. Then you go for his ACU or SAMs, which is not gonna work so great. This is gonna drop on power, which is gonna do... You should thank for his stupidity for stacking them so close. Or incompetence. I should not say stupidity, that's kind of rude. His incompetence for stacking it like so close. So you killed a lot of his power. And he's probably stalling. Because he needs to support like all these shields. And I don't think you can support this many shields of just like a T2. Maybe you can. Maybe there's more T2 energy than shields. I believe you can support it still. And even with tier 3 mass. Oh, I can't understand like how this is screwing you up and by how much. It is kind of unfortunate. But you're going for another donut. You're sending another of these, killing his mass extractor. That's nice. You can see that his clink hammers are actually closing distance, so he probably has them like here now. You have a scout, but you're not using it. Slightly unfortunate. You have actually 2 scouts that you're not using. Also a bit unfortunate. You have a lot of shields, but very little firepower with those shields, so they all die really gracefully. And you're still going for sniping these things. And bear in mind, you'll give him a lot of mass with like reclaiming this. If this second donut, which I know that it finished the game, but if this didn't work, he will probably won this game because you gave him so much reclaim in this. There's like 67,000 in reclaim here. I'm not sure that I'm betting that he's not reclaiming all of this, but you can bet your bottom bucks that this is a lot of leftovers that you gave to him and that he can use it against you, which he probably will and should. So your second donut is getting near completion. I believe it's gonna be the end the game for that with that donut, or maybe you build a third donut. I'm not sure. I don't remember, frankly. I did skim over this game the first time I watched it, and I just like, oh, it's a rush. I mean, it's a turtle. Lol. And this is quite boring game to try to review, but such is the circumstances, and these things do happen quite often in this rating. People generally don't know how to deal with this, so this is like I would say a good I would not say quality tutorial, but sufficient tutorial to like help people understand like what should you be doing and how should you think about like dealing with this. And so you're scouting, you see some new buildings. You probably have a tier 3 radar somewhere in the back. I'm not gonna go look for it now. But in any case, you're looking, you see his commander, and you go for the immediate target for this. SAMs are shooting, and this is probably what kills him. If he had shield, he might actually would live through this. Walking away of Caesar, like when it's already shooting at you, is not a good idea. You should just like spam PDs anyway. Like it's not like you can outrun it. And if it dies, it's probably gonna drop on you anyway, because you're both gonna be heading in that direction. So it's gonna fall on you like 100%. But if this attack failed, and if he decides to reclaim that as well, which he would definitely will, I believe you will probably lose this game. You will give him so much mass, and he will have like so much stuff to do with. He already has like so many tier 3 scouts. He'll probably scout for your commander and go for it. The turtle games are like, I should summarize it like as a like test of patience. The more patience you have and the more like rational decisions you can make, the better you're gonna do against the turtle. So yeah, that kind of summarized like the game and the opinion and the dealings and wits and whats of like a turtle game against specifically UEF turtle. UEF turtle has a lot of options, and it sucks. Nobody likes it to deal with that. It's frustrating, but there's always a way to deal with that if you think about like solutions like quickly and like fast. Like as soon as the game starts and you notice the turtle, think like a one step ahead of him. If he doesn't have T2 stationarity, build it before him. If he doesn't have experimental, just build that. If he doesn't have any units, just like spam the shit out of the units and just go for his base. Not everything will work, but the more you can think ahead of him, ahead of the turtle, the more you can like deny him like any significant expansion, the better you're gonna do in building game. That has been bit from me. hopefully you will take this to another game with this new acquired knowledge or unknowledge. And yeah, good luck in your future games.